Have you ever considered the sheer volume of, well, hidden chemicals that underpin our modern world?
Mm,
From the sturdy plastic casing on your phone, maybe the insulation in your house,
right.
even the tires on your car. Chances are a really critical compound called styrene monomer, or SM, is quietly at work there.
Absolutely. It's one of those fundamental building blocks.
Exactly. Essential for industry, but something most of us never really think about. Yet, its reach is incredibly pervasive.
It really is.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a recent market report on styrene monomer.
Okay.
And our mission isn't just to skim the data, but to really truly understand the current landscape and, maybe more importantly, where this global industrial component is heading.
The future trajectory,
We'll
yeah.
be looking at market values, growth rates, those KJRs across different regions, different countries,
Right.
to see where demand is really surging and what that tells us about, global development and consumption patterns.
Sounds fascinating.
So, okay, let's unpack this chemical that's quietly shaping so much of our world.
I'd do it.
Kicking us off with the big picture then.
Hmm.
The global styrene monomer market was pretty substantial back in 2021. $53.56 billion.
A big number to start with.
And it's not just growing. It looks set for a significant surge. Projections show it reaching $66.36 billion by 2025,
Okay.
and then a staggering $1.841 billion by 2033.
Wow. Nearly double over that longer period.
Exactly. That represents a healthy compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 5.5% globally.
So steady, significant expansion.
It seems so. And this isn't just abstract growth. It clearly indicates that demand for everything from packaging to construction materials, consumer goods, it's all accelerating.
What's really noteworthy about these figures, I think, isn't just the sheer size, but the consistency of that growth projection, over a decade plus. When you see a foundational chemical like SM projected to almost double, it signals more than just general economic expansion.
Right. It's more specific.
Yeah, it speaks to specific, large-scale industrial and maybe urban development projects, particularly in emerging economies.
Okay.
But also, alongside that, a continuous demand for sort of higher performance materials in the more established markets.
So kind of a dual driver there.
Exactly. Think of it like the underlying current of global manufacturing just intensifying, needing more of these basic building blocks to keep pace.
That makes perfect sense. It's like the invisible infrastructure almost.
Precisely.
Okay, so with that really compelling global outlook, let's dive into the regional specifics, because this is where the story gets, really granular.
Right, where the variations show up.
And we start to see some fascinating differences. Let's begin in North America.
Okay.
This region represents a significant, pretty mature foundation. Its SM market is projected to grow from just over $18 billion in 2021 to more than $33 billion by 2033. So it's maintaining a solid EGR of about 5.2%.
Still very healthy growth for a mature market.
Definitely. Within North America, the United States, no surprise, remains the largest contributor,
Yeah.
showing strong, steady growth.
As you'd expect.
But here's where it gets particularly interesting. While the U.S. and Canada contribute substantially, Mexico stands out.
Ah.
It has the region's highest compound annual growth rate, projected at over 7%.
Over 7%. That is significant.
Yeah, it's significantly outpacing its northern neighbors. This doesn't feel like just an anomaly. It suggests some specific drivers are at play.
Absolutely.
What do you think is behind Mexico's exceptional acceleration in demand for styrene monomer?
Well, that's a crucial observation. The report suggests that Mexico's standout growth isn't just tied to domestic consumption. Instead, it seems to reflect a real surge in foreign direct investment, particularly in manufacturing.
The nearshoring trend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Driven by that global trend towards nearshoring, companies are strategically, repositioning supply chains closer to the North American consumer base.
Makes sense, given recent years.
Right. Often as a response to geopolitical tensions, supply chain vulnerabilities we've all seen.
So what does that mean on the ground?
It means an uptick in demand for materials like SM for everything from, say, new appliance manufacturing to automotive components produced in Mexico, but often destined for export.
Gotcha.
It really signifies a strategic shift in global manufacturing footprints.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, let's turn our attention to Europe then.
All right. Europe.
Here we find another region showing consistent, stable expansion. The European styrene monomer market is forecast to grow from nearly $15.5 billion in 2021 to over $28 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR just under 5.1%.
So quite similar to North America's overall rate, actually.
Very similar.
Yeah.
And the traditional industrial powerhouses like Germany, the UK, France, they remain significant consumers.
Right, the established base.
It illustrates the continent's enduring reliance on SM and its manufacturing base.
However, the most dynamic growth within Europe seems to come from what the report just calls rest of Europe.
Ah, that category. What's happening there?
Well, this segment boasts a really remarkable CAGR of 8.764%. That's the highest on the continent.
Wow. Okay. That's quite a jump compared to the big players.
It really is, and this probably isn't just, evenly distributed growth. It often points towards newer EU member states, perhaps,
Okay.
or regions maybe in Eastern or Southern Europe undergoing significant infrastructure upgrades, industrial modernization.
So new factories coming online.
Potentially. New factories, specialized production facilities. It's a clear signal that industrial development is broadening beyond those traditional Western European hubs.
Creating new centers of demand.
Exactly. New centers of demand for foundational materials like SM.
That rest of Europe figure is truly a standout then. It really highlights how industrial shifts can pop up in unexpected places.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about the undisputed powerhouse of demand, Asia Pacific.
Ah, yes, APAC, critical region.
Absolutely critical for global growth.
Right.
Its styrene monomer market is projected to more than double, from $10.82 billion in 2021 to over $22 billion by 2033. That comes with a strong TAGR of almost 6%.
So outpacing both North America and Europe in terms of growth rate.
Yeah, slightly faster overall growth. Yeah. Within Asia-Pacific, China, as you'd expect, is the clear regional leader, showing robust growth.
Still the engine for much of it.
But the real story, perhaps for long-term acceleration, comes from India.
Okay.
India is showcasing an incredibly high TKR, over 7%.
Over 7% for India.
Interesting.
So if we think about the sheer scale of population, the ongoing urbanization in both China and India,
Huge factors.
what specific sectors or maybe consumer trends are driving this particularly intense demand for SM, making Asia-Pacific such a dominant force?
Well, the rapid industrialization and those burgeoning consumer bases in both China and India are definitely the big drivers, but the report adds a bit more nuance.
How so?
In China, while growth is still strong, it seems to be evolving a bit. We're seeing maybe a shift towards higher value applications.
Like what? Things like specialty plastics for advanced electronics, automotive parts. It reflects a more maturing industrial base.
Okay, moving up the value chain.
Exactly. Whereas in India, the growth still seems heavily fueled by more foundational needs.
Such as?
Massive infrastructure projects, huge packaging demand because of the rapidly expanding retail sector,
Right.
and a significant increase in affordable housing and consumer goods production.
So less about high-tech, more about basic build-out and consumption.
For now, largely yes. It isn't just about more people needing more things. It's about the type of economic development happening in each country dictating the specific demand for these materials.
That's a key distinction.
Uh,
Okay, moving our gaze now to South America.
South America. Okay.
Here we see consistent contributions to the global market, though maybe at a slightly more moderate pace overall.
Right.
The overall regional value for styrene monomer is forecast to reach over $8.8 billion by 2033, with a CGR of about 4.9%.
So slightly lower than North America and Europe, but still solid growth.
Exactly. Brazil remains the largest contributor, holding a significant share of that regional market.
Makes sense, given its economic size in the region.
Interestingly, though, within this sort of stable picture, Colombia stands out.
Ah, another specific country highlight.
Yeah, it has a higher TGR of over 6%.
Over 6% for Colombia. What's driving that?
It suggests specific industrial initiatives, maybe government-backed or perhaps significant private sector investments driving its demand.
Any specifics mentioned?
The report points to ongoing modernization of port infrastructure
Okay, trade-related.
and expanded manufacturing capabilities, particularly in construction and consumer goods, as key factors for Colombia's accelerated need for SM.
So it's an example of sort of targeted national development really shaping those regional market dynamics.
Yeah, it seems like a great illustration of how individual national stories can really differentiate within a broader region.
Absolutely.
Now, let's pivot to the Middle East. This region is truly emerging as a high-growth hub in the SM market.
Okay, the Middle East. I expected some action here.
Definitely. This region is forecast to more than double its value, hitting over $5.3 billion by 2033. That comes with a very strong CAGR of nearly 6.8%.
Almost 7% growth rate. That's significant.
It's not just growth. It feels like rapid expansion, indicating some major industrial diversification.
Moving beyond oil and gas.
Seems like it. Saudi Arabia leads the region in overall volume, showing robust growth.
Right.
But it's the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, that takes the prize for the highest growth rate. It's clocking in at an impressive CGR of nearly 7.3%.
Wow, 7.3% for the UAE. That's very high.
So what specific strategies or, investment priorities are these nations pursuing that are driving such high demand for styrene monomer, which, as you said, is often a precursor to wider industrial output?
Yeah, this surge in the Middle East is a really clear indicator of that aggressive economic diversification you mentioned. Moving beyond traditional oil and gas revenues,
Right.
The report highlights massive investments in new petrochemical complexes, sure, but also downstream manufacturing capabilities.
So not just producing the raw materials, but using them too.
Exactly. For instance, the UAE's high growth seems linked to its ambition to become a major hub for specialized manufacturing, logistics, even tourism infrastructure.
All requiring plastics and resins.
All of which require a range of styrene-derived products for everything from, say, interior fittings in hotels to high-performance plastics in other sectors.
And Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia is pursuing similar large-scale projects. Think entire new cities, massive industrial zones designed to attract global manufacturing.
So these aren't just market numbers.
No, they're the tangible results, the outputs of these national visions for future, more diversified economies.
Very clear link there. Okay, and finally we arrive at Africa.
Africa. And the report flagged this one, right?
It did, described as one of the fastest growing styrene monomer markets worldwide.
Okay, let's hear the numbers.
This region is projected to skyrocket from about $1.7 billion in 2021 to over $4.1 billion by 2033. That's an absolutely impressive CAGR of 8.308%.
Over 8.3%. That's truly remarkable growth, the highest regional quota we've seen.
By quite a margin, it really points to a potentially profound economic shift happening.
So where specifically in Africa is this concentrated?
Within Africa, Nigeria takes the lead in overall market size, and it's showing incredibly strong growth itself.
Okay, Nigeria's a big player.
However, South Africa boasts the highest KZR in the entire region, maybe even globally in this report. It's an astonishing 8.764%.
Wow, nearly 8.8%. What's fueling that kind of acceleration?
Well, this isn't just general development. The report seems to indicate that this rapid acceleration in places like Nigeria and South Africa is driven by significant infrastructure development.
Okay.
New housing projects, road networks, port expansions, things like that.
Foundational build-out.
Yes, coupled with burgeoning domestic manufacturing to serve these rapidly growing consumer bases.
So making things locally.
Exactly. We're seeing a rise in local production of appliances, packaging, building materials, which reduces reliance on imports.
And directly translates into soaring demand for foundational chemicals like SM.
Precisely.
That really paints a picture of a continent on the move, industrially speaking.
It certainly seems that way based on this specific market data. So, bringing it all together then, what does all this mean for us, the consumers, and, the industries shaping our future?
Well, it's abundantly clear, isn't it? The global styrene monomer market is on a robust, undeniable growth path.
Yeah, the overall trend is unmistakable.
And we've seen how this expansion is powerfully driven by, first, the sheer scale of demand from Asia-Pacific.
Right, the volume leader.
Coupled with that really rapid strategic industrialization happening in Africa and the Middle East, those high CAGRs really stand out.
While the established markets hold steady.
Exactly. All while established markets like Europe and North America continue their consistent, significant performance.
The report, as you highlighted earlier, draws that crucial distinction. Mature markets with stable increases, and these emerging markets showing some of the highest growth rates globally.
And what truly sticks out, I think, is how this isn't just about isolated chemical market trends. It's a direct reflection of underlying global shifts.
How so?
We're potentially witnessing a redistribution of manufacturing power, a diversification of national economies away from single resources, and a surge in consumer demand in regions that were previously less industrialized.
So these numbers are like a proxy indicator.
Exactly. They're a proxy for the foundational infrastructure being laid, the factories being built, and the vast array of goods being produced, from the packaging protecting your food to crucial components in our homes, cars, electronics. countless products.
It really underscores that profound global interconnectedness of our economies, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Growth in one area, tied to development and consumption, ripples outwards, impacting demand for these basic chemical building blocks everywhere.
Okay. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the global styrene monomer market, maybe consider this provocative thought. How might the rapid targeted growth we're seeing in markets like Mexico, that rest of Europe category, and particularly the soaring demand across Africa and the Middle East,
Yeah.
how might that serve as an early, maybe almost microscopic indicator for significant shifts?
Shifts in what?
Shifts in global manufacturing hubs, shifts in consumer markets over the next decade. What kind of everyday innovations, maybe new economic opportunities, might emerge as a direct result of these foundational chemical market trends? Trends that seem to be building a very different kind of world.
That's a great question. What is the downstream impact of all this foundational activity?
Exactly. It's certainly food for thought for all of us.